Hey y'all and welcome! Today we're diving into a design style that's near and dear to my heart, Moody Academia. Imagine stepping into a space that feels like a cozy library, filled with rich colors, the scent of old books, and the gentle glow of lamplight. That's the magic of Moody Academia, and we're gonna bring that same enchanting atmosphere right into your family room. Now I know what you might be thinking. Moody and family room don't exactly sound like they go together. But trust me, with a little bit of planning and a whole lot of heart, we can create a space that's both intellectually stimulating and oh so inviting for the whole family. Think warm, inviting hues, comfortable furniture perfect for curling up with a good book, and those personal touches that make a house a home. Get ready to transform your family room into a haven for relaxation, reflection, and maybe even a little bit of studying. Let's get started. First things first, let's talk color. When it comes to Moody Academia, it's all about embracing those deep, rich tones that create a sense of warmth and sophistication. Think of those beautiful libraries you see in old movies, the kind with floor-to-ceiling bookshelves and leather armchairs. We want to capture that same feeling of timeless elegance. Now don't be afraid to go bold. Deep navy blues, rich emerald greens, even a touch of burgundy. These colors might seem dramatic at first, but trust me, they create the perfect backdrop for a cozy and inviting space. And don't forget about charcoal. It's like the perfect neutral for Moody Academia, sophisticated, grounding, and it lets those jewel tones really shine. For example, you could paint your walls a deep navy blue, then bring in an emerald green velvet sofa and some burgundy throw pillows. See how that creates such a rich and inviting atmosphere? But the color story doesn't stop with the walls and furniture. Remember those books we talked about? They're not just for decoration, they're an integral part of the color scheme. Don't forget about the power of contrast. While we're embracing those deep and moody hues, it's important to balance them out with some lighter touches. Think crisp white trim, a light-colored rug, or even some metallic accents in gold or brass. These little pops of brightness will help prevent the space from feeling too heavy or overwhelming. Now that we've got our color palette figured out, let's talk about the bones of your family room, the walls and flooring. These elements set the stage for the entire space, so it's important to choose wisely. When it comes to walls, there are so many directions you can go to achieve that Moody Academia vibe. Painting your walls is always a great option, and we've already talked about those rich, deep hues that work so well for this style. But don't be afraid to think outside the paint can. If you really want to add some character and depth, consider adding some wall paneling. You can go for a classic look with wainscoting or beadboard, or get a little more creative with geometric patterns or even reclaimed wood planks. Paneling adds a layer of texture and visual interest that instantly elevates the space. And if you're feeling really bold, you could even create an accent wall with a dramatic wallpaper. Just be sure to choose a pattern that complements your color scheme and doesn't overwhelm the space. Now let's move on to the floor. Hardwood floors are always a classic choice, and they work beautifully with the Moody Academia aesthetic. They add warmth and richness to the space, and they're also incredibly durable, which is important for a family room. If you're starting with existing hardwood floors that have seen better days, don't worry. You don't necessarily have to refinish them to give them new life. A good cleaning and a fresh coat of polish can work wonders. And if you're not working with hardwood floors, don't fret. A large area rug can easily achieve the same effect. Look for a rug with a traditional pattern, like a Persian or Oriental rug, in colors that complement your color scheme. Not only will it add warmth and comfort underfoot, but it will also help to define the seating area and tie the whole room together. Now comes the fun part, choosing furniture. This is where your Moody Academia family room really starts to come to life. The key is to select pieces that are both stylish and functional, creating a space that's perfect for everything from family game nights to curling up with a good book. When it comes to Moody Academia furniture, think classic silhouettes and rich materials. A plush velvet sofa in a deep jewel tone is a must-have. It sets the tone for the entire space and provides ample seating for family and friends. Consider flanking your sofa with a pair of armchairs in a contrasting fabric or finish for added visual interest. Leather is another great option for a Moody Academia family room. It adds a touch of vintage sophistication and develops a beautiful patina over time. Look for a leather armchair with a worn-in look, or a leather-topped writing desk to add a touch of old-world charm. Don't forget about a coffee table. It's the heart of the family room, where you gather for conversations, games, or just to put your feet up after a long day. For a Moody Academia aesthetic, look for a coffee table with character. A vintage trunk, an old library table, or even a collection of stacked antique suitcases can make for a unique and interesting focal point. Alright y'all, let's talk about lighting. It's one of the most important elements in any design scheme, but it's especially crucial in a Moody Academia space. The right lighting can transform your family room from a simple space into a cozy and inviting haven. Think about those old libraries and studies we've been talking about, the ones with the warm, inviting glow that makes you want to curl up with a good book and get lost in another world. That's the kind of atmosphere we're going for. The key is to create layers of light, using a combination of ambient, task, and accent lighting. Ambient lighting provides overall illumination for the room, while task lighting is more focused and designed for specific activities like reading or working on a puzzle. Accent lighting is used to highlight architectural features or decorative objects, adding drama and dimension to the space. For ambient lighting, a statement chandelier is a must-have in a Moody Academia family room. Look for a chandelier with a vintage feel, like something you might find in an old manor house or library. Wrought iron, distressed wood, or even crystals can all add a touch of elegance and sophistication. But don't rely solely on overhead lighting. It's important to have multiple light sources throughout the room to create a warm and inviting atmosphere. Table lamps are essential for task lighting, providing focused light for reading or working on a laptop. Place them on end tables next to your sofa and armchairs, or on a desk or console table. Floor lamps are another great option for adding ambient and task lighting to your Moody Academia family room. Look for a floor lamp with a vintage-inspired design, like something with a brass finish or a stained glass shade. Now that you've got the foundation of your Moody Academia family room set, it's time for the really fun part, adding those personal touches that make it uniquely yours. This is where you can let your personality shine through and create a space that truly reflects your interests and passions. Remember those stacks of old books we talked about earlier? They're not just for show. Incorporate them into your decor by stacking them on coffee tables, side tables, and even the floor. Use them to add height and visual interest to your bookshelves, and don't be afraid to mix and match different sizes, colors, and textures. And speaking of books, let's talk about art. Moody Academia is all about celebrating knowledge and intellectual pursuits, so artwork that reflects those themes is a natural fit. Vintage maps, botanical prints, and portraits of literary figures all add a touch of sophistication and intrigue to the space. You can find affordable prints online or at flea markets and antique stores. Frame them in simple black or gold frames to complement the Moody Academia aesthetic. Textiles are another great way to add warmth, texture, and personality to your Moody Academia family room. Velvet, leather, and wool are all great choices for throw pillows, blankets, and even curtains. Look for rich colors and patterns that complement your color scheme. And don't be afraid to mix and match different textures for a layered and eclectic look. Decorative objects are the finishing touch that brings your Moody Academia family room to life. Think vintage globes, antique telescopes, old typewriters, and other objects that evoke a sense of history and intellectual curiosity. Y'all, we're in the home stretch. We've covered so much ground, from choosing the perfect color palette to finding those statement furniture pieces. Now it's time to infuse your Moody Academia family room with heart and soul. These final personal flourishes are what truly transform a house into a home, a reflection of your family's story. One of my favorite ways to personalize a space is with a gallery wall. It's a fantastic opportunity to showcase your family photos, travel mementos, or even your children's artwork in a way that feels both stylish and meaningful. For a cohesive look, choose frames in similar colors or finishes, but don't be afraid to vary the sizes and arrangements for a more eclectic feel. If you're an avid collector, your Moody Academia family room is the perfect place to display your treasures. Whether you collect vintage cameras, antique books, or even seashells from your travels, creating a dedicated display area adds a touch of personality and tells a story. Consider using a glass-fronted cabinet, open shelving, or even a simple console table to showcase your collection. Remember those cozy nooks we talked about creating with your furniture arrangement? Well, they're not complete without a cozy throw blanket and a few plush pillows. Choose textiles in soft, inviting textures like wool, cashmere, or faux fur. And don't be afraid to layer different patterns and colors for a touch of visual interest. Music is another wonderful way to set the mood in your Moody Academia family room. Well friends, we've reached the end of our Moody Academia journey, and I couldn't be more thrilled with how this space has come together. We've talked about everything from choosing a rich, inviting color palette to incorporating those personal touches that make a house a home. Remember, the beauty of Moody Academia is that it's all about embracing a sense of history, knowledge, and personal style. Now it's your turn. I encourage you to take these ideas and make them your own. Don't be afraid to experiment, to let your creativity run wild, and to create a space that truly reflects your family's passions. After all, the most beautiful spaces are those that are filled with love, laughter, and memories. I'd love to see what you come up with. Once you've transformed your family room into a Moody Academia haven, be sure to share photos with me on social media using #MoodyAcademiaMakeover. I can't wait to see your creations. Until next time, happy decorating.